Hey guys, did you know that I have a Patreon where you can support me and plus get awesome rewards? Or if you're thinking to yourself, but Julian, I want even more bang for my buck while still supporting you, you can pop over to my Redbubble and check out my awesome store with new designs appearing regularly. But for now, enjoy the video you're about to watch. Hey everybody, it's me, Julian Greystoke. I'm wearing my Star Trek shirt today. It's really wrinkly because I couldn't be arsed to iron it for this. Today we are going to do a really super unprepared review because I finally finished watching Star Trek Discovery. The reason it took me so damn long is because I didn't want to pay for the service, so I had to go to my friend's house because she had it. She lives like kind of far away, so we had to like schedule. It was a thing, but we finally managed to watch all of it. And if you've been here for any length of time, you know that I am a Star Trek nerd through and through. I have seen every episode of every Trek except the animated series, so of course I had to watch Discovery. Super excited about it. But what did I think about it? Well, I'm going to give you my basic overall thoughts right now, and then after that we're going to go into spoilers. So if you have not seen Discovery, I really recommend that you do not watch the spoiler section, alright? So, my overall spoiler-free thoughts are thumbs up. I enjoyed it. It does have a bit of a rocky start, I will say that. Are there really any Star Trek, arguably the original series, but are there any Star Trek series that really start out super well? I find that most of the time when I'm recommending Star Trek to people, I'm telling them to just power through the first season of whatever because it's not going to be as good. Star Trek kind of has a history, so a lot of people who gave up on this like immediately after the first 2-3 episodes, I feel like you're really doing yourselves a disservice because would you give up on other Trek that quickly? Give this a chance. And I really did enjoy it, even some parts that other people did not enjoy. I liked the characters pretty much right away. I do enjoy Michael Burnham, the main character, very much. I also have decided that her actress needs to play the main character of one of my upcoming books, if there's ever a movie version, because you know there totally will be. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But Jane is here. He likes Star Trek. He also likes that I'm wearing a light-colored shirt that can totally get covered in his hair. So yes, my spoiler-free thoughts are just that you should give it a chance and watch all of Season 1 just as you would undoubtedly recommend that anyone do if they're starting to get into Star Trek. Don't give up on it right away, give it a chance. I really enjoyed it, and I think it was a great time, and I'm super excited for whatever happens next. Now we are going in to the spoilery section, alright? So if you have not seen it, you really need to leave. Bye. Alright, we're here in the spoilery section. Now, I should warn you all again that I did not take any notes. This is just random, so it might be really rambly and I'm probably gonna forget stuff. So I feel like a lot of people will probably agree with me that the first half of the season is not as strong as the second half. The second half is stronger. It goes into the mirror universe where things are a lot darker, things are a lot more stressful. People be dying up in here. How are we going to get home, and eventually, how are we going to save the entire universe? Because just in case you didn't love these characters enough to wish that they survive, then you have to be invested because the entire universe is in trouble. But let's talk about the first half a little bit. I think a mistake, or a potential mistake, may have been having, I think it was the first 2 episodes, just be the origin story of Michael Burnham and how she came to be an outsider, how she came to be a criminal. And I understand that we really do need to know that about her character, and we do need to have her relationship with Captain Giorgio because that does come up much later, way off when we get into the mirror universe. But at the beginning, it really kind of grinds it to a halt when you have these first 2 episodes, and then we kind of just switch gears completely and go to now Michael is a criminal and now she is on the ship with the captain we haven't met. I mean, Saru is still there. But I don't think it was the best choice? I don't know. They were trying to do something different. Something they could have done is have Michael coming in as a criminal and then us getting flashbacks of her. but that's been done to death, and maybe that wouldn't really work for her, so I'm not sure how they could have fixed it. I can see how some people would be frustrated by that, because it seems like it's setting up the status quo in these first 2 episodes, and then it's like, whoops, nope, that's not the status quo, even a little bit. And then another complaint that I had just for the overall pacing of the show is when we reached the end, the Mirror Universe stuff, so good, I loved it, ate it up with a spoon, but then we get back from the Mirror Universe and oh shit, the Klingons are winning the war, fuck, it's even worse, and Michael has made one of a string of very bad decisions in her life, which is bringing Mirror Giorgio back with her. Shit's gonna get real, and I feel like that moment where we looked and we saw all of the Klingon ships there would have been a great place to end the season. And I'm not even a big fan of cliffhangers, but I think that would have been so good, because then we could go into the next season with the war with Klingons being a lot of the next season, or being the first half of the next season. As it is, they get back and they've got like 1 episode left, and this one climactic episode, and instead of being like a big action set piece, it's really meandering and odd, and it's like, let's go to Kronos and the Giorgio will sleep with a couple of Orions and Tilly will get high. What are you doing, show? This is your finale. This is the finale of season 1. And you kind of had it several episodes back, and now it seems like you remember that you had 1 episode left and you didn't know what the fuck to do with it. So those are my biggest issues with the pacing of the show, and some possible missteps that it made. Obviously, the misstep of the last episode probably won't affect whether people keep watching or not, but I can definitely see the first part messing with people wanting to keep watching, and I think a lot of people did jump ship at that point, which isn't great, because like I said, you really do need to give this show a chance, as you would any other Star Trek. So let's talk about the characters! I really enjoyed all of these characters quite a bit. I don't think there was a character that I hated. There was a character that I am not a huge fan of, and that was Ash. I didn't like him that much. I didn't like his plotline. I despised his romance with Michael. I hated it. I did not feel the chemistry ever. And then they went to the Mirror Universe, and I was like, oh, forget all about that stupid romance. Here we go. And then they came back, and they were like, oh yeah, romantic angst. And I was like, I was so done with Ash. I don't know if he's going to be in the next season, but he needed to go away. He was like the only character that I didn't really like. Although I was super entertained, because it seems like there's something about him that makes people just like trust him. You know, Captain Lorca finds him in a Klingon prison ship, and he's like, come with me and totally be an officer on my ship. This is fine. Now I know that Lorca is from the Mirror Universe, but still, it's kind of like, why this guy? What is up with this guy that you're like, yep, you, random stranger, position on my ship, here we go. And then later, when he's been transformed back from being evil, he's talking to people and he's like, I'm not a Klingon anymore. And they're like, I believe you. Right away. Just like, does Ash just have this power around him where people just believe him and trust him and put him in his quarters? Like, he doesn't have to be uncomfortable. You don't have to put him in the brig, but put him in his quarters for a little while and slowly, if you really trust him and you are sure that he is no longer a Klingon, slowly reintroduce him to the crew. Don't just throw him. These are all my random gripes right here. Like I said, I didn't write any notes down. I know a lot of people didn't like Tilly, and I feel like personally that is because the way she was introduced is pretty cliched. She is kind of like that peppy roommate who just wants to be your friend that's from like any young adult thing where somebody goes to college, their roommate just either turns out to be a total bitch, or that person who's like, we're gonna be best friends. And I'm super socially awkward, and that was Tilly, but she really, you find out a lot more about her, and she really is an interesting character, and I love her, and I love the girl friendship that she has with Michael. I really enjoy Lorca. Even when we find out he's evil and he's from the Mirror Universe, I really enjoy him. But I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed by that twist, because I was really enjoying the fact that Starfleet would have kind of a chaotic, neutral kind of guy on their ship, and how they would deal with that. Have a captain who isn't maybe so squeaky clean and good and noble all the time. And that really intrigued me. It reminded me a little bit more of like DS9, which is my favorite Star Trek. Spoilers if you haven't seen my list of top Star Trek series video. You can have a captain who isn't perfect, who makes mistakes, who maybe makes bad or selfish choices. And so Lorca really intrigued me. And then when he did turn out to be from the Mirror Universe, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I was a little bit disappointed by that twist for that reason. And I was really saddened by his death and how, not anticlimactic, but just sort of a little bit insulting it was, where it's like, here's this guy that we've been following for this entire time, and he's been so complex and had so many facets to him, and now he's just been distilled down to, he's the bad guy, stab him and kick him in a hole. One big problem that my friend and I both had with this series was, now stick with me, we loved the couple, the gay couple on the ship. We loved Paul and Hugh, and it was so great to see an established gay couple in anything. Because most of the time if there's a gay character, they're single, or they're just getting into a relationship. There's no established couple that's clearly just in love and been together for a while. This show killed Hugh. And that is just, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's the bury your gays trope, and it just needs to go away. They took this beautiful, non-tropey relationship, and they turned it into one of the worst tropes that I absolutely hate, and I was just not okay with it, not on board for it. I'm a little mad at you, show, for doing that. Sarek and Michael and that whole relationship. I love her relationship with her adoptive father, Sarek, but I still, and maybe it's going to become more evident why in this upcoming season, but I still don't know why it was Sarek. Specifically, could she not have been raised by another Vulcan? Maybe it's because Sarek is like the only Vulcan who's taken a human wife, and therefore we need that tie-in, but I don't feel like we did. So I'm still waiting to find out for that payoff, why is it Sarek? Because it does just create all kinds of weirdness with the canon. And one other piece of controversy that I wanted to talk about is, of course, the Klingons and their new look. I don't hate it. I'm not a huge fan of the football head thing they've got going on, but their makeup, I'm fine with it, whatever. It looks really uncomfortable to wear. The biggest thing though is their armor. I do not like their armor, the design of their armor. Everything is so stiff and like they clearly can't sit down or move. And I'm like, they are a warrior race who enjoys fighting hand to hand. They need to be able to move, to fight, and like there is one fight with them, and it is a very stilted fight because they can't even like raise their arms. So my biggest problem with the new design of the Klingons is that their armor is stupid and looks really inefficient, and clearly the actors can barely move. Otherwise, whatever, I'm fine with the redesign. So, overall, I really enjoyed Star Trek Discovery, and I am excited to see what happens next. We've got the Enterprise, we've got the possibility of meeting Spock. Such excite. I really hope they go interesting places with it. I love how multicultural the cast is. I love that we have different sexualities coming into the forefront. So, I am very excited to see what happens next with this show. And I hope that people continue to give it a chance and don't just give up on it because it's different. Because Star Trek is always a little bit different. Anyway, did you watch Star Trek Discovery? If you did, comment below and let me know what you thought of it. If I have any further thoughts, I will put them below in the doobly-doo. Do not forget that I post new videos here Mondays and Fridays. Usually they're a lot more bookish than this, but occasionally they're nerdy. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo, and if you liked what you saw here today, but you wish it was higher quality, then you can support me on Patreon. Donations on my Patreon are going to go towards getting me better equipment, so there's that. Yay! And I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye! What's up, everybody? It is shout out time! Time to shout out to my very first patron, Kim. And if you want to be cool like Kim, become a patron over on Patreon.